Good evening. It's a lovely Thursday, and we are back again right here on Ubuntu channel with Nsaka. This program is designed to look at different social issues that our communities go through, and most of the time we look at household marriages and relationship issues. Well, today, as usual, I'm joined by my colleague, no other than Himba Malambo. Good evening, Himba. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Good evening, CJ. Good evening, viewers, wherever you're listening us from and watching us from. Twamisengela, twamipokelela, tomitambula, kuno ku Ubuntu channel, and we look forward for more interesting program tonight.
Yeah, indeed. Let me also, at this point, welcome Evangelist Hebert Shaabula, our counselor. Good evening, Evangelist.
Good evening, CJ, and good evening, Himba, and everyone else.
Good evening, Evangelist, and it's nice to see you after a long time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wow. So, viewers, today we are looking at child abuse. So please make sure you invite someone, share this broadcast, hit the like or the heart so that we know that you're following us and you are part of this discussion. Type in something in the comment section, and very soon we'll be dropping a link that you can use to join the studio and interact with the panel, as well as the phone line will be available so that you can make calls and be part of this program. We would like to interact with you and know some of the experiences that you have seen or gone through as regards to child abuse, so that we are able to help each other. Apa bana wa skulu banavala bana baluma nyumba, and the vulnerability levels, depending on the setup, go up. So getting started and right into the topic, I'm going to invite Evangelist to set the ball rolling for us in regard to our discussion, which is child abuse. Evangelist, you can set the ball rolling.
Sage, before Evangelist comes in, I'd also love to mention that we've decided to pick on this topic because we are looking at the number of cases of abuse that have the way they are going higher in our country. We feel this is an issue which needs to be tackled before it gets out of hand. A lot of children are suffering at the hands of their carers or at the hand of the people, guardian, whatever we're going to call them. But a lot of innocent and vulnerable children are really suffering. So we've decided to bring up this topic so that we can see how we can share ideas and educate one another.
Yeah, thank you, Himba, for that. Viewers, there's this video that was trending. So we just have a quick glimpse of it before Evangelist kicks in and we get the discussion going.
Every time it's mommy who's beating the baby. Let me see behind. Yes, behind. Huh? This one? Yes. I can see it. Everywhere. Everywhere. Sorry, my darling. Okay. Okay, let me see this other one. This one. So how did mommy beat you? What was she using to beat you? Here, what did she use to hurt you? Hassan, put in the blood. Hassan. You see, when you okay, can I help you dress up, my darling?
Yeah. So, viewers, that clip was trending, should be last week. That shows how that child was being um, physically abused and by the mother. Well, right about now, Evangelist, please, you can come in and start the discussion.
Very much, CJ, and thank you very much, Himba, for your kind words and also for the introduction of the topic for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at child abuse, and we also look at the causes. We're also looking at the abusers, in short. So now I will try by all means to actually define what child abuse is. Actually, this is the abuse that is done or inflicted on a child mentally, physically, sexually, or by neglect. So these are done by people that are trusted with responsibility of taking care of the life of that particular child. I'll repeat, it is physical abuse, inflicting pain on a child who cannot defend herself or himself, or mental abuse, threatening a child, doing or saying things that scares a child. Sometimes a child, even when they're sleeping, they can dream they're being chased or being beaten. Sometimes the child will scream. All sorts of things that will happen to a child as a result of threatening the life of a child. Also, sometimes it can be sexual abuse to a child by an elder person. In most cases, these are known people to the child, or people that are trusted with the life of the child or the development of the child, or in short, a caregiver. A caregiver turns into a monster, he turns into an attacker, into an aggressor, instead of protecting life. So that's what we are looking at. Sometimes it is just the neglect. When I talk of neglect, I'm saying a child abandoned. For example, it can be a father or a parent, in short, either male or female, abandoning children or a child, failing to provide food to the child, warmth or accommodation or housing or any protection, also including health. If all these are neglected to be done, they are not given by the parent to the child, who is defenseless, who cannot support himself, then that is also abuse. So if you are a father and you do not provide something to your children or to your child, or you are a mother, you don't provide that, then you must know that actually you are abusing your children by way of neglect. So these are some of the things that we are looking at tonight. I want to hasten to say that the question would be, why do people, why do parents, why do other human beings abuse children? The reasons are many. Number one, it can be frustration. in the family or stress in the family by the mother or by the father. When they are stressed, they've got problems, unresolved difficulties in the family. They become short-tempered, and so they begin to vent their anger on innocent children. That is one of the reasons. Two, an abused a family that the father and husband who are not together. There are fights, there are quarrels, unhappy marriage. So this marriage can sometimes turn into an abusive family. They can begin to abuse their children. Either the boys or the girls can be abused by the father, especially the father. Sometimes you find that maybe as a result of poor communication between the father and the mother, you find that this person will now befriend children. Sometimes a girl child will be a friend of this girl biological child. And because of this touching and the communication and the mingling with this child, you find that this can lead to sexual abuse of the child because of the problems the parents are going through in their marriage and in their family. So it has got, an effect on the family. The other issue can be poverty, not having food, not having what and what, because they are poor. So people are short-tempered. Sometimes they tend to begin venting their anger on innocent children, and they begin to actually abuse them. That is due to poverty. Others, they would want even to sell their children to other people that would want the spare parts or parts of the bodies of the children. In other words, they can sell actually a child, the life of a child, into the hands of another person for the purpose of money and so that they feed, they eat, and they live. So that can also, it can to that extent when it is not controlled, when poverty is exaggerated. So that we must understand. Now, the other issue, the other causes, it is a divorce. When a woman is divorced, sometimes you find she will be stressed. And because of that stress, again, it takes her to stress and frustration. But coming from a divorce, that can also have an effect on the mother, on the woman, so much that sometimes she will go to the extent of abusing her children, physically or just mentally. She'll be shouting, sometimes she'll be insulting, all sorts of things. Reason because of frustration, the mind is congested with the unresolved problem. So that is another way that parents do actually abuse their children. And some of these, they just develop anger coming from stress. Because they are stressed, they are always angry, the voice is always raised. So because the voice is always raised, they speak by shouting. And because of speaking by shouting, the children are threatened, or the child is threatened, and the child lives under fear and does things under fear. And if he's called, he'll be coming. So the child's mind is disturbed, is confused, the child is not able to do what is supposed to be done. Worse still, that child will be beaten, as the case of this child that we've seen in the video. If one is not very careful, it can lead you into start punishing innocent children and treat them as if they are the causes of the problems you are going through. The other issue, it goes back to jealousy now, especially when the mother is a stepmother and sometimes also a stepfather. Stepfathers, stepmothers, some of them, not all of them, others are extremely good. They are better than biological mothers. But generally, stepmothers can be very, very, very bad in the way they handle the children they find in these marriages they get into. Because instead of looking at the child, they'll be seeing the mother in the child. Himba, I'll repeat this. Himba, I'll repeat this. You find that this woman, instead of looking at the child and see the child will begin to see the mother of the child in the face child. Now, because of this vision, because of this picture which the mother has, the mother will begin abusing the child. Not because the child is wrong, not because the child has done it, but because of jealousy. Jealous of a marriage which was there, and she was not even there. So she'll become jealous of the child. Especially if the child sits with the father or on the laps of the father and begins to chat with the father. Then when that father leaves home, the child will suffer serious abuse, including capital punishment or corporal punishment, not capital punishment, but corporal punishment. When I say corporal punishment, I'm talking about beating. The child will be beaten as the case is. Now, abusers do not choose what to use in punishing. They can take, a hosepipe, they can take a shampoo, they can take a wire, they can take a knife, they can take a gun, they can take anything lethal which can actually injure the life of a child. Reason, it's because of jealousy, including men. Even men, when they look at this boy and this stepson, this man will begin seeing the face of the father of the boy in the face of the boy, which is most unfortunate. And so the boy will not, the father, stepfather, will not pay schools for the child, will not be able to help the boy in school and also address him and also answer to his needs. He will not. So all that is abuse. Now listen to me. Abuse, it is savagely. Abuse is satanic. Abuse is devilish. It should not be heard and it should not be mentioned among the living, because it is archaic, it is for foolish people, it's for jealous people, it's for unproductive people. So you and me should not abuse our children. One, they did not choose to be born in our family. They did not choose to be born to a father or a mother who divorced or on separation, or who has married a second wife or a third wife, or who has married a new father, new man. It's not their choice. Everything that they meet, it is the choice of the parents. So that you must know that the children are innocent. Now, let me say this. Because Himba says somebody is going to talk about the laws of this country concerning abuse, I will not go that far so that somebody can talk about that. If that wasn't the case, I was going to talk about child protection. I will talk about that. I would talk about the courts, how they handle these matters. I was going to talk about safety, homes where children can be taken and whatever it is. But the whole issue is that the person that is going to talk about this, I'm sure, will do a good job to help us. But what it is, ladies and gentlemen, let us not be people that are going to participate in this evil of abusing children. You know what? As I invite for questions or contributions, Himba, CJ, and everyone else, even denying a child his or her breakfast, it is actually abuse. Even failing to provide that was we don't have meaning to kulipe unga nyumba baya mtipembele chapi mugone so na njala. That is also abuse. That is neglect. You've neglected to provide for the children. You can't say at all because unga wadula whatever it is unaba bali chani siani kubaa and start producing food when you have enough food to pay kubaa. Is that okay, Himba?
Thank you so much, Evangelist. And I would have loved if you could still ganta nini over the, but however, to our viewers, we are going to have somebody next week who is a professional who's going to talk from a legal angle. Us, we are coming from the social part and the psychological, but we're going to have somebody who's going to take us through, as the evangelist has said, we're going to have somebody who's going to take us through the laws of our country, who's going to take us through the health and safety and also safeguard of these children and how to report and where to report. Next week, just make a date with us. You're going to have that exciting. For today, we'll concentrate more on social and a bit of psychological part of the child. Over to you, CJ.
Okay, thank you, Himba. Evangelist has done a good groundwork explaining the kinds of abuse and the number of things. He mentioned there's psychological, is it physical,
emotional, spiritual,
okay, as well as financial.
Yeah, and there's also now there's also is it called internet or social media abuse?
Oh yeah,
social media.
Abuse.
It has just been added to the list as well.
All right, great. So yes, Evangelist. All right. So viewers,
go ahead.
Viewers would like to interact with you, and today we've put the link early in the comment section. If you want to join the discussion that we're having, please click on the link so that we can add you to this discussion. Make sure as you are joining, when you click on that link, enable mic, enable video, so that we'll be able to add you to the virtual studio and the conversation can continue. Please also use the number that is on the screen, 0972 959 608. 0972 959 608. You'll be through to the studio and we can get the conversation going. Now, Nima signs ya branch that you can that can show you as a parent that okay, mwanapa is being abused. So now your question whether it's general. So I don't know how you're going to pick it, Evangelist, whether it's the physical abuse, sexual, emotional. So I've just thrown it generally. What are some of the signs as a parent? What can you look out for in a child that can hint to say, I think Vintusividi Bunanaman?
I'm going to pick two or three examples, since it's a general question. signs for you to know that this child has been abused. First of all, let me deal with the sexual abuse. Sexual abuse.
Yes.
When a young girl is abused, the following will show. Number one, the child will be shy to stand before other people. Number two, the child will isolate herself from the rest of the people. Number three, the child will be scratching her bottom. That is a sign. The other one is that sometimes when you check the child, you find blood on her private part. Sometimes you actually you find sperms on her private part. And also the private part, sometimes you find that the part is extended. It is beyond the normal of a child. The normal position of the female part is exaggerated. That is an indication. You will see that the child, even if you are not there, you find that the child has red eyes because the child was crying. It was painful. Whether they treated the child with they gave the child sweets or chocolates or anything that somebody used in order for the child to give in, or whatever what happened, the child will have red eyes, and the child will not be able to talk in most cases, especially when the child is threatened with death, or your father, I'll kill your father, I'll kill your mother, whatever it is. The child will be scared, will be afraid all the time. So those are symptoms, those are signs of a child who has been sexually abused. The other abuse is a child who is physically abused. When you are a father and you walk in the home, you find your son is not playing. Either your son is in the room, isolated, or the son is sleeping. That is also an indication. Not all the time, but I mean, if you check maybe 1, 2, 3 times, you find the same situation is occurring or is happening. You must something is wrong. Then the other point is a child who fails also again to mingle with others, include either age mates or other friends or other family members, especially with the abuser. If you want, you can bring that child, let the child sit to the person you are suspecting. You will see that the child will either turn and give his back to the abuser, because his eyes are not able to look, he is not able into the face of the abuser. That is also an indication. The other one is that the abused child will not want to talk to the abuser. Then from there, the abused child will want to sleep early. Sometimes will not even eat. Now, you need also to check the body of the child. Sometimes some abusers, they inflict pain, leaving the marks on the body. Some of them, the marks will not be seen, but the pain which they inflict on the child will just be in the body, and the child will have some swellings on the body. So you must be able to detect that. Sometimes somebody use the belt, sometimes just use the nails, the pinching. Sometimes somebody using konya, hitting, using folded fingers. We put knuckles in in karate we call them knuckles. Hitting a child using knuckles, it's very, very painful. It might not be able to show because the pain will be inside, excruciating pain. Now, those are signs. The child sometimes may not want to go to school. Absenteeism will increase because the child is afraid. Sometimes you find that the child, even if he plays with other people, other friends of his, he may play with a lot of fear. When the mother calls, he will always be the first one to run towards the mother to go and show respect because he's scared that he'll be beaten, or you'll be beaten by this father who is abusing a child. Those are some of the signs. Then psycho abuse. When you mention something that threatens the child will stop whatever he's doing and will pay attention to you and give abnormal respect to you, because the child thinks that what you're saying is going to happen, or your threats will be a reality. So the child will suffer mental abuse. So the other issue is that the child, the other negative disadvantage is that the child will begin to fear and not to like people. The child will just be would want to be alone and not wanting to learn from friends or do things with friends. The child is totally excluded from the community because of abuse that you are inflicting on the child. These are some of the signs to look for, and many more.
Okay. Thank you, Evangelist. Himba, I want you to chip in on this one. I know this topic is a dear topic to you, and with your interactions, I'm sure you are itching just to throw in a few jabs here and there. Please pick it up.
Thank you so much, CJ. For me, I'm going to be a little bit even be biased, and please, viewers, bear with me. I'm not going to be I won't be economical with the words. I would rather say it as it is. And at least, Evangelist, thank you so much. You've been polite and you've been economical with the words. Definitely me, I'm not going to do that. When it comes to such, please bear with me, viewers. Before I go any further, allow me to thank that woman or that teacher who got that video for that innocent child. We are reliably informed that that child is actually 4 years old, and the perpetrator or the abuser is actually the step parent. And the person who blew the whistle is the teacher at school who saw all the red flags which Evangelist has mentioned. He saw the child, I mean, we've seen what has been in the video. But one thing, before I go any further, I would love to say that we know ourselves very well. This is Ibabwino. If you know that you can't look after any child, please don't allow yourself to be a step parent. Don't even allow yourself to get married. If you want, just stay with a tree, mukazinkala vesi vilibe my feelings, vesi vimvera kubaba. Then you go and abuse an innocent child, because you're more than a demon to go and just imagine that child is how old, 4 years, against a fully grown-up woman who would abuse a child to such an extent because the father was not coming home or whatever reason. What does honestly that has to do with an innocent child? So basically, we know ourselves as women. Bazimai, ngauzi batu na mtima wa mwala. Your heart is like a stone. Please stay away from being a parent. Don't even admire to be a wife, because uzakapezeka maybe wapezekana mwamu nenza anakwatila hapo ali na bana and wamboshita abuse bana and baja bana, there's nothing a man can do. Sanga bamele ni bana bake. And in our culture we say when you get married and so fiance kusenda na bana bonse, you have to embrace them. But the problem, there's no way you're going to love your partner and you neglect the children. Then you are evil. And you don't even deserve to be called a human being. That child you are traumatizing. That is an innocent life. Anyway, however, I'll go on with my contribution. CJ, I'm still coming back. I would love to talk so much about the effects. Ababana beti machita abuse wakali bangono. You know, we abuse ababana because of your selfish gains, which has already been mentioned by evangelists. Because you are so selfish, you are so greedy, you decide to be an abuser to this innocent child, or to this innocent child who found herself or himself in a situation where they have no control. You know, they are not the ones who caused it. He's not even the one who made the father or the mother to fall in love with you. It's just a child who is innocent. These are the effects of our acts. Abusers or us abusers. I don't know. I'm not an abuser and I don't want to be one, but I'm trying to be polite. Polite. As I said, let me say it the way it is. These children, when they grow up, they find it difficult to cope with life. They really find it very difficult to cope up with life. These are the children who feel they are not wanted. In adulthood, bamankala bakawalala, bamena babana, bamankala, you know, they any situation that comes across them, they would easily break. They even see Chani, they even see suicide to be one of the easiest way to go, because they feel they are not loved, they are not wanted in society, even in their family. Because of you, one person who was so selfish. Mwenzo menya mwana in China 4 years. Mwenzo mtana vokuja mwana. Mwenzo muitana mazina mwana in China 4 years. You know, you destroy an innocent life. Secondly, it becomes difficult even for them to work. You know, because, you know, as you were abusing this child, you know, you take away their self-esteem, you take away their identity, you even their will to fight, stress in their lives, you are taking it away because of your selfish gain. Such children or to find a good job, it's very difficult, because they always think they are from in life vutika because they mnampanga mwana. They struggle to be good parents as well when they grow up. They basically struggle to be good parents because they never saw a good parent. You, the parent who were available to them, you are a monster. Some, they even become poor managers of relationship. They even become abusers to their partners because they saw during their upbringing, during their kukula kwao, abusers. So they end up also become abusers. They struggle with mental health. They've got a lot of mental health issues. They struggle to trust even when they are still young. A child who's been abused, either sexually, mama struggling to trust adults. They struggle to trust anybody because they feel anyone who becomes closer to them as abuse. They become abusers of substances. Ndiye aba baana beetimaona babe machamba olwo bakula muzapeza ati bakumwa moba, alcohol abusers, drug abusers, because they find comfort in such, and they feel by so doing was again ngako ka self-esteem ka temporary. So you abusers, these are the effects which we plant in innocent lives y'abaana. So nga uziba kuti ine ndineoipa mtima mwamuna akakuza tawe nabalako ninzokwatira, just say, oh, but daddy, bye-bye. Nga ndwe mkazi, olo ndwe mwamuna, if you're a man, mkazi akuza, no, I was once married, I've got 2 children. If you know yourself that I'm an abuser, please say bye-bye to that woman. They are innocent children that we need to look after. And bravo to the police who came in very quickly to arrest that demon of a woman. I'm sorry to call her names, but at this particular time, my main interest is the child. It's not the abuser, it's the victim. I'm not supposed to call her name, but my interest is to protect or to speak on behalf of the child who is innocent and who can't even fight for herself. So ingauziba kuti ndio oipa mtima, oloziba sunge mwana. Please leave that man, or please leave that woman. Let a woman who is able to look after that innocent child come to this man. Azakapeza winangu iwe msiye, not kwambo vutisa bana. CJ, first niganizeko vina, ukange mtima pano ndinuo baba. Over to you.
Yeah, indeed, Dunga. Yeah. Even just vironda ujamwana vinenze now. Come on.
Imagine.
tupionse namu
atwenzonimenyera na broom evangelist mwana atwenzonimenya na broom and that
you know, Himba, I've avoided commenting on that child because in the first place I failed to view the video up to the end. Because you know, there's what they call impedance. Impedance is the way the amount of pain the body can absorb. You know, the shock absorbers that the body has.
Yeah.
Now, for a child, you know, for the child to remain with such marks on his body, it means that when there are fresh wounds, it means there are deep cuttings. Deep cuttings. And then, what about the pain in the heart? In English, they say excruciating pain. This is the pain that really, you know, can cause a person to faint.
Shock.
To collapse. And this is what can also disable the mental capacity of a child. Instead of going forward, it will go in reverse because of this pain. And this is something that this child will never forget, even if the child is cancelled because of the amount of pain that the child went through. The child will never forget it. It requires now for this child, not even counselors just to talk the child, but the child must be completely removed from this family, even if the mother apologizes and promises to change. No, the environment should just change. If I was the father to this child, actually, I would even move out of that house. If it is my house, I would put it on rent so that I move to a new environment so that the child can have new attitude, new environment, new ideas, new friends, new everything must be new. And this woman should not go with me. The wife, this woman should go to prison, not to her home, but prison. And I know, I don't want to comment. I'm not commenting. So what I can say is that the law will do just to itself for this woman. So the whole issue here is that, you know, we cannot comment much because the matter is in the court. But for now, all we can say is that we are commenting on the child that if I was the father, if I became the father, by fortunate or whatever, by design, I become the father, I would actually change the location from where the child is to a new location, and probably even try to change the home setting. You know, vimasofas in a vigulisa, you have a new environment, and that new environment should favor the child. And you know, the whole issue, you know, the child needs the support of the father and the rest of the people. This is what needs to be done. Now I want to say this, including those that give names, Kubana, iwe ndani,
Happens.
No. Any name that is bad, a child, the behavior of that child will be in line with the name that you have given that child.
The name.
And so sometimes wanzake wazama kumuseka chale, chikopo, abwera chikopo, wachiwa kutu, yochimutu chibig head, big head, come here, big head, you know. All that is abuse. That is psychological abuse, emotional abuse. So this is, such a person is just as good as the person that punished this child. So for this child, I have failed. And even last time when I saw this on TV, I failed to watch it up to the end because my eyes and my heart does not allow touch. So it's difficult. Or I say, dear friends, you who are not in it, or you who are in it, if you're in it, learn from this. Quit. Be kind. Be good. Treat others as you would want other people to treat your child, to treat you. So that is what we need to do. We do not have to be enemies of innocent children or innocent human beings. For me, Himba and CJ, if you allow me, I will just say abuse in any form and to any human being, either child, adult, teenager, old person, whatever it is, it should not be entertained. It should not be allowed in our community. No, not at all. If it's a woman, if you don't want her, please retain her to her parents. Take her to her parents. If she was not eating, let her go and die of hunger, than die at your hands. No, not at all. If the man was if the woman was abusing the man, please leave that man alone. Let him die on his own than you as a woman to kill your husband. No, not at all. No matter how angry you are, no matter what pain you are going through, no matter what jealous you have, you should not, again, you should not abuse anybody, because it is not right. It's wrong.
Great. Thank you for that submission, Evangelist. Viewers, we are looking at child abuse. We are looking at child abuse, and we would like you to interact with us. I can see Abia has says watching.
Sorry, CJ.
Yes,
sorry. I want to extend this, including those that look after children, those who take care of the children. We call them caregivers. If you accept to take care of the life of a child or children, if you accept, you must not take upon your shoulders the responsibility of bringing up a life or lives. It means that you become humbole. You are going to make or break the life of that child or those children. And because of that, it is upon you, the responsibility of taking care of those children as you would want to be taken care of by another person. So, if you are a caregiver, usebenza munyumba, yangana bana, wena kuziba kati moyo wa bana ba uli mumanja yako, and so bana wena kubasunga bwino. Osuna lanjenda lama pase salary yako. Do not vent your anger kutenga uchite ukalipa kwako uyamba umenya bana. Ati chifuto nila listen drama. No, that's not it. The children are not responsible. Simuna pangane na bana ati wazamba ukupasa drama. Ni makolo wao. Do your honesty part and fear God and love those that you are taking care of. So let the children grow. When they grow up, when they become doctors, they should be able to say, "Bameli banani sunga ine, bameli anakuseza kunyumba mai, banali ba himba mambo. So banani sunga bwino. So today I'm buying a house for the person that took care of me. I have seen this. I one here and CJ. There is a certain lady that took of me from grade 5 up to grade 7. I was working as a house boy in their house. And when I grew up, went to school, whatever, now I'm a member of parliament. I did something extraordinary, which I do not want to disclose here, but very big, which even their own parents, not even their own children had done for them as parents. But it was done by me, who was actually a servant in the home, a houseboy in the home. But when I grew up and became member of parliament, I did something great for them. In fact, 2 days ago, the old lady, we met at a funeral, and she was just boasting and telling everyone there at the funeral to say, this Honorable Shaabula, he did this and this, and it was not me. So, dear friends, never know. Remember, they say, Eko sulide, eko kaupabanoko. Eko sulide, eko kaupabanoko. The same person who you think this one is nobody is the one who is going to be president of Zambia. The same person that you are is the majesty. It's going to be the judge.
You don't even know their destiny. You are not God.
Yeah, true. I invite comments and questions and contributions.
Thank you very much, Evangelist. So Lance says, Tripoli Poche Naife watching. Okay. Caroline, good evening, watching and following. Then we have Choki Lewis. Good evening, panel. Great topic. Then again, continues to say, well-spoken evangelist. And then also,
thank you.
Dillon Hamazila says, very helpful topic. Great. Viewers, there's a number on the screen, which is 0972-959-608. Let me say that slowly. 0972-959-608. Please, you can call that line. You can even send a WhatsApp message or even a voice note. We'll be able to pick it, and we can have interaction via that line. You can also drop in a comment through the comment section. There's also a link just at the beginning of the comments, at the top of the comments. There's a link that you can use to join the studio and interact with us. We want to hear your experiences. We want to hear your questions, your contribution, so that together we can build each other and help somebody out there who might find themselves in with this situation. So, Evangelist, there's a sensitive thing or a tricky thing that usually constitutes abuse, and sometimes people call it discipline. In our African culture, if a tima menya wana ngati samvera mwana, okay? Now, kuwazungu wali very strict. It's physical abuse and disvasoveresa. Now, in our context, what constitutes abuse? Because if etinajaira mwana ngati samvera watenga mkwapu wa kwapura, so this one is usually a tricky one, and people sometimes call it discipline or something like that, and sometimes it gets into abuse. So please give guidance on this one.
I would like to put it this way. I'm going to add another one to your question. The question here is, the question is, what about labor? Also labor discipline. Number one, under United Nations Charter, now I'm talking as member of parliament. Under United Nations Charter, a child has got what is called rights. The right to mingle, what you call to a right to associate. or right to association, right to education, right to food, right to life, and so on and so forth. These are inborn rights which you cannot take away from the child. And because of that, these must be given to the child as they are prescribed, or in the way they are prescribed. Now, it means that the child is protected by law. Now, even as the child is protected by law, we are not supposed to beat a child in a way that shows you were not actually disciplining a child, but you were fighting with a child. There is a difference between disciplining and beating a child. To discipline, the word discipline, now let's go to English. Discipline means the disciple of. The word comes from disciple. It means the way you disciple a child, the way you teach a child, the way you train a child, the way you bring up a child, the way you show leadership to a child. Now, discipline does not only mean beating. It means showing a child how it is done, how it is lived. If you say no insulting, you should be able to be the example, not to insult. If you say don't steal, you the father, you should not steal. If you say don't come late, you the father must report home. You must come home early. Don't do whatever you say, you must be an example. Now, beating. There should not be any reason for beating a child. But most children, especially nowadays, you can sit down and discuss with them, and they will listen. They are intelligent. They will listen. For me, when I was growing, the time I was growing, when I was having my children, I think it was allowed to beat. I beat them. I used to beat them, and they know. They know. Some of them are watching. Some of them are listening. And also, if you read the Bible, the Bible. Proverbs chapter 19 talk about sparing a road.
The road.
You spare the child. And you spare the child. The Bible allows beating. Now, beating is not actually that kind of beating whereby the child, the particles will be cracked, they will be wounds.
Like what we saw in the video. Like what we saw in the video.
No, that's not beating. That was slicing and dissecting. Slicing and dissecting by torturing the body of a child. I said slicing, dissecting, and torturing the body of the child. So that is not punishment. That is cruelty. Again, cruelty. Again, cruelty. So we should do, if we are going to beat the children, it must be something that will not cause a harm to the body. If we are going to beat them, and even those that beat their children, there's a way they do it. The battacos are much better, kumatago, because there's a lot of meat. The battacos has got a lot of meat. The cushion. So if you can beat kumatago, I think that is allowed somehow. It is allowed, but not you get a stick, you start beating the head. You are hitting the throat, the ribs. You are stepping on the child. You tramp on the child. No, that's not beating. That is fighting with the child. So the answer here, Chibonta, is that we should not beat our children. But if we go to that extent, it must be the battacos and a soft stick. Don't take a hard broom. Don't take, electrical cables. Don't take, rubbers. Don't take, a hammer, 14-pound hammer. You want to hit the head. No, not at all. That's not it. Then I would like to talk about labor. There's a difference between teaching a child how to work and labor. Labor under the International Labour Organization, ILO, labor is described as the work that is done for money, for gain, for a long period, to the exclusion of the privacy and the pleasure time of the child. Meaning that the child cannot play because he has got to work. The child cannot play because he has got to sell a shaba or oranges or whatever it is, or look after animals for the whole day. The child cannot go to school because of certain assignment that you have given to that child. When that is done, then the child is in labor. When you send a child, go and buy sugar from the shop, or teach them how to grow tomatoes or chickens for 1 hour or 2 hours. That is not labor, that is work. So let the children work, but they should not labor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Evangelist. Yeah, isetenze kumenye wakukura kwatu.
No, who's that? Kachele mtengo weka.
It was normal. You are asked a question, you answer, you get a beating. You don't answer, you are quiet, you get a beating. It was serious.
But for me, firstborn daughter was very obedient. I don't think that I beat her. She was very, very obedient, and she's still very, very obedient. But the big guys, they were a bit not, so I handled them well.
No. You parents,
today
you always have
parents.
a soft spot. Parents, you always have a soft spot for the last bonds. That's why Mama Pusa. Himba, please come in.
Thank you so much, CJ. I just want to add a little bit of information from what Evangelist has said, especially when you are hearing him talking about the African Charter, UN Convention, and human rights. The children have got the rights to life, to a name, so basically Zambia is a member of United Nations, and under United Nations there's an agreement. As long as you are a member country of United Nations, you have to abide by those children's rights, humans' rights. If you don't follow them as a country, you are going to be penalized at that national level. If you don't follow them at provincial level, you are going to be penalized at provincial level. If you don't follow them at district level, you are going to pay at district level. If you don't pay, is it at ward? You are going to pay. If you don't pay, if you don't follow those rights at family level, you are going to be penalized at family level. So the fact that our political leaders, they signed to that agreement, and it was done in Beijing, so we all have to follow and protect our children in our homes. Na ibarako hivyo vama sambiriro mia among children today na bwela kwatu. I want to talk about fathers. Imwe bazimuna bakuti muzati munyumba mlina ma step children. Mlina vana, and there's a stepmother in the house, because kambili vamuna panzaba, I'll be a little bit lenient with you, because ni vangono vamuna who are very abusive kubana, ni vangono ife vama dress, ndife ma problems, ndife ma culprits. Vamuna, they are there, and vambili vamuna ama fera maningi ku sexual abuse. But it's not as much as it is kuli ife vama wigi. Vama wigi ndife ma problem.
Stepmother. Ni njoka, ni mfwiti.
So you men.
Ni mubobo, stepmother.
I don't know what happens with us. I just don't know as women. What happens that this child will never take your position in this house. This child will never take your position. This child will never be a wife. No matter what is going to happen. Olo nyumba ikazule, saza kabwela utabwela goneko na imwe pa bed, mzambo gona babili. This child will never take your place. And as women, one thing we should understand is that we have our own position in our husbands' lives. And even these children, in our husbands' hearts. And even these children, they've got their position as children. So let's occupy our position and let the children occupy their position in their father's heart. Vamuna nzabwela kulimwe because mwesindimwe ma problems maningi. Pangono, vama wig na madress ndife ma problems. Vamuna, if you know that you've got vana bemunabala kwinangu, there are certain things you should do in that house. Once in a while, demand to have a meal together with the children. Once bali munyumba. Not every day bakuyikira nsima ku bedroom ati akatemba chupo na imwe akatemba chupo. Imwe lyansefya mulyafya akatemba chupo. Sit down, demand to have a meal with your family. At a round table, you are going to notice my behaviors yabana. It will also give you time to interact with the children. See how this child is behaving. When angolo kuja, because imwe muleli akatemba chupo ku bedroom, you are going to find that vana bako sivanadye chokuja. But your bedroom wakupasa vimapisi vankuku. Vana kuwakutia repu kumbali. You are not even noticing what is happening. So sometimes, and vana, you know, all of vana vama pasa repu every day. The day you are going to demand utu dioko na vana. Vana bazada, but leo tadia veg. You see that behavior. And you'll be able to leo tadia nkuku veti madia veg ife. Leo tangala patebo veti ngala pansi. You know, you'll be able to identify certain behaviors in children. I am a self-contained bedroom yana bwela kuba muna. Try once in a while, avoid them. Yakuti, you come back from work, you are late, mwabwela kangani 22, 23 hours, mwangena straight ku bedroom, vana baligone. Kuseni mwasamba bedroom, wamiletrane nganiti, then you leave, you go. They went, vana suba yangana. That's one. Secondly, try to check what the children are doing. Once in a while, pitani monu mabuku ya vana. The performance ya bana izami uzani mwana aperform iwe kansi ni chani mzapeza mwana maenda late ku school mwana ndiye apyanga ndiye ka boy because there baba madress if madress some women even prefer the child kukili na mnyumba but mulimade mwewa kambira ba evangelist just jealous and just you want to just to torment this child you know bena maid sanga zipyanga mlipo imwe pyangani maid you know but the father pays the maid. As a father, have time, go through my books yabana. Mwabaona nga kwa kuli opening day ku school batati. And then koni, not abala ya kobanyina. Once in a while, make an outing with your children. Don't leave these children to the all over kazi banu muba trasita. Elonga muba ona bakazi banu lyonse. Munga bana bafuna okamba bale chingirisha bakasha balekeni ba wisona abanaka. Awe sweetie, you are tired. Be careful.
Red flag.
Red flag. Why ubale sabana ukamba na ini? So as a father, you should be concerned. Bana bakankala batamba TV the moment you come into chokani batate bana bafuna mverera news. See news daddy. Kuliveva mi bisani. Let the children you know, sit and find out. Try to spend some time with the children. If you know that maybe to your previous marriage, previous relationship, these children, they need you. If you address tivuta. And Ivana, try also once in a while, go out with the kids. Kwenda uti, sukamba paka mwenda kumanda hiu, mwenda kulevimu. No, there are things you can do with the children. Come up with an activity. Your day is just a Saturday. Bana bangalero tienti kirine panja. Mwe bakiri ni labana. All over my bow, even a child with sexual abuse, you'll be able to tell my behaviors. Mwana zashita withdraw. Mwana enzo konda batate bake. From nowhere, mwana kaona batate bake abajita avoid. You as a father, try to probe. Try to find out what is happening in this child. We mwana daddy kansi simuzi ba mai wake paja mwana amitana daddy mai wake wanvera jealous. The moment you leave we mwana kashi ba wiso daddy nishi unka kumone wanya, you know. already a child is being traumatized psychologically. So you men find time. If what tamba bola, man, you from Sunday to Sunday, mukazi chitako avoid bamuna, chitana avoid. Spend time with the kids, talk to the kids, even on one-to-one. Kuseni pa jolonja, attend kagule bread. Mwanyamula na bana banu taking a kawoko. As you are talking, kids will be able to tell you. Not every day mkakambati, attend kagule bread. Na inendola leo niko, mamai wake, uenda kuti. Iwe sala upange titireta bread kuli vevalesa kuti mumvere kuti vana vazanena. So be careful. Yona imwe vazimuna vazimai mwamuna wako everyday uyu mwana tomfwa umwana vamuna vamenya mwana everyday. You are going to find that man sees your husband, your former husband, in that out. Vaona mo rivals, vaona mo mwana. But vamuna sikambiri, they know vamavibisa or alikuwa nakajealous amavibisa. Kuli problem ni ife kuli ife amawigi. So fathers, I beg of you, try to find time to spend with the children, especially when you know that you've got children from the previous relationships. These children, they need you. They need to talk to you. If you see the woman is very protective, pisha where you are, that's a red flag. Vana mukafika pa nyumba, vana watamanga bainda kuma bedrooms, it's a red flag. Vinasi la vijawaka mkamvila che moto, kafina zata tukamvila moto kwa dadi mwaenda. In our days, that's a red flag. Yes, it can be genuine. But find out. Nana ukafika cha bana bagona kudala. Uzapeza ati bana baswama bama enda kubedi bakamvya che ghetto lwa babwela batate ba ndani. Friends of no gona bana. So please spend time with the children. They love you and they need your protection. What happens when you're not there? It's a lot. What happens behind this? You can even feel sad. Look the way the children are being abused. Mwenda kona kuma school, mwenda mwamvela bana veba mashita disclose kuma teachers. Open day. Ni drama za bwanji ze mupanga za kuti you can't spare even an hour for your children, even to go to school, kuti mukamvere, kuti mwana pay for mabwanji. Muzapeza mwana amagona che school amaenda olema, performance or is traumatized, sashita na concentrate. Go once in a while. Mwenda mwamvela ko ma open day, not bazaenda ko bamai baki. Bazaenda ko bamai baki. No, hell no. Men, step up and protect your children in the homes. Thank you, CJ.
Thank you very much, Himba. Time is really running, but I would like submissions in line with if you discover that or you are suspecting that your child is being abused. Though I know this is kind of too wide or general, but I'll give you the liberty to pick whichever angle and give a few things or guidance on how to proceed, as well as if there are things that you can put in place to try to minimize the chances of abuse happening in your home. Evangelist.
Yeah, it's a good question. First of all, to minimize abuse in your home, if you are a father, love that woman you have in your home. That lady you call your wife, you love her. Let her know that she has a place in your heart. Let her know that she has a place in the home. Let her know that you, the father, you are actually encouraging the children to respect her. Let her feel respected by all the children. I'm saying all the children. And then from there, as Himba did, you work with the children and the mother together, or work with the father together with the children. In other words, be inclusive. Include everyone in the programs that you're doing. There should not be special children who be treated differently. All the children must be treated the same. Whether the children that are born in your home or they came in, they were brought in by their mother, they must be treated the same. In fact, I want to overstress here. You know, Himba, CJ, and everyone else, when you agree, you decide to a person who has children already, it means that you have asked for extra to do. And therefore, none of the children should feel being strangers in that home. You have accepted, you have decided you take these children and take them on in the way you are going to send them to school, take them to school, take them to hospital, take them to entertainment places, take them for work, treat them better than their father. Remember, I told you that if you are a good parent, a good child, a good parent, you take care of that child when the child is too small. When they grow up, those children will never forget you. So one thing which I said is include everyone in the package in what you are doing. If it is the education, give them equal education, all the children. You should not segregate. Your children in your home and the children that have come, they should be given same education. Your children should not go to private schools and then the children of your wife or your husband, then you take them to a government school. So that will not be okay. So take them to the same school, take them to the same hospital, do almost the same thing that you can do for everyone. That will help. Let the father be included in the activities of the family. Let the mother be included. So don't love your children more than you are going to love their mother or their stepmother, or love their father more than their stepfather. You love their children more than their stepfather. No. No, let the wife know that she's loved and cared for. Let the husband know that she's loved and is cared for. And also give her latitude or a leeway or some kind of authority to these children in the way she deems right, and to work with the children in the way she sees right. You should not be overprotective, either as a husband or as a wife. Do not say, no, you don't do this to my children. If you say my children, what about him? What about her? Those are my children. So if you say they are my children, then it means you have excluded the other person. You have removed him from the activities of the family. So that way you are actually creating a limit between your children and their father or their mother. So it is important for us to make sure that we work as a team. And then from there, also try to take them out, their father, their mother, and you, the children, and go and do things, play together as a family. So the family that plays together is stronger than the one which does not, is divided. So it is important to do that. And find time to sit with each child and befriend and allow them to talk to you. Because by talking to each child, you have a culture of talking to each child, they will be able to tell you their pains. They will be able to ask them, is there anything that you want me to know? You know, try to find out, but don't tell me how bad your mother is. No, the child is going to actually accuse the mother or accuse the father. Do not encourage gossip. Do not encourage hatred. Encourage oneness. Encourage unity in the family. As a father, you are the builder. You build the family. You build trust. You build the relationships. So do not divide, and no favoritism. Ababana tubakonda, abatubakonda. Ababana bamuzako subakonda, bako nomenokonda. Ngati kugula vovala aba ubatuma ndani kusaraula. Wamesi wako. Iyo bako iyo uzatie kumanda hiyo. Tie mufoshi. Let's go with on those places. Go to those expensive boutiques. Then bana zako baada ku boutique ya sala. No.
Kontama boutique.
That is not right. When you do that, you find that you'll be building trust and also you'll be building the family. So that way, you are also building love in the family and respect for each other and trust for each other. So, mind you, you don't know who is going to look after you. You don't know. You might think that it is your own biological child, when actually your biological child is going to be a prostitute, she's going to be a prostitute, is going to be a thief, a robber, a murderer, a serial killer, your own biological child. So let's treat everyone as human beings. And I must say this very slowly, Himba and CJ. Now, when God gives you children who are not your biological children, you must know that God has entrusted you with the lives of those children, in your home, so that they should be brought up in your character, with your identity. Meaning that you are favored by God. And because you're favored by God, do your best to show Christ that you appreciate the responsibility. And there is always a reward for doing so. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Evangelist. Okay, let me read this from Abia. He says, Madam Himba, nice input there. Okay, the comment has, yeah, nice input there. Kubwera Champions League manje. Yamene imati dirantawi. Just interact with our children. Another thing is that we men, we don't allow children to talk to us directly, but through their mothers. It shouldn't be like that. Thank you, Mr. Abia, for that submission. Well, we are now in the dying minutes. Himba, I'll request you just to give your concluding remarks, and then Evangelist will wrap up everything. Himba.
Thank you so much, CJ. For me, I'll just say we know ourselves. And even when we are going into these marriages, we know what we are looking for. If you know yourself, if you hear a woman or a man tells you, "Nalikuwa from my previous relationship," just say bye-bye to that man or to that woman, than to go and become a monster in these innocent children's lives. And I want to emphasize, I'll even go a little bit outside of our topic as I conclude. People of God out there, let us understand that when you marry, you have a special place in that person's life that no one will take it away. Mukumanga kuli place yako as a wife or as a husband, kuli place y'abaana, kuli place ya my relatives, kuli place na yaba maibake. There's no way a mother-in-law is going to be the wife. It will never happen unless something is not right somewhere. There's no way a daughter in the house is going to be a wife. It's a problem. Yes, Evangelist.
Yes, my battery is at 1%. Can I say the last word?
Yes,
Okay, please.
Go ahead.
My battery is at 1%. All I can say is that, abuse is devilish. It must not be amongst us, and it must not be encouraged. If we are involved, it is time to stop and begin loving and interacting with those that we despised or those that we abuse. And we should also apologize to them for the bad behavior. And we must understand that there is always a reward for taking care of God's people, these children that we have. One day we are going to be old or unable to take care of ourselves, they will take care of us. That's what we believe in Africa. Himba, you are in Europe, but in Africa, that is the teaching. They will take care of us. So, ladies and gentlemen, it was wonderful talking to you. I hope to see you again next week at the same time. Love you. Bye-bye. My children, you are always in my heart. I love you. All of you. You are all my children. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Evangelist. Himba, please wrap it up, Himba.
As I was saying, CJ, I was like, look, we've got different positions in in our partner's life. We've got, if I'm a wife, I'll never be a mother-in-law. And that stepchild I found in that child will never be a wife, no matter how close they are with their father. They will never. There's one woman I know who really taught me something. This woman, what she used to do, she got married to a man who already had elderly children. What she used to do, the moment bana bakabwela kuli batate, ashitagamba, no, 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 no. She will even step aside in the kitchen and said, imwetipikireni. She'll just fit as if she's also a child in that house. What am I trying to say is that as you are getting married into this man's house, get to know the children one by one and understand your position. No one is going to get your position. That child you found, that stepchild, will never get your position. Never. You will be a wife and this child will be a child. Your mother-in-law will be your mother-in-law, and your mother-in-law will never be a wife unless there's a problem somewhere which we are not aware of. So be comfortable in your lane and be the lady of the house. That child is a daughter of the house or is a son of the house. You are the lady of the house. Occupy your position with pride and honor. Not bana bamboleta threat kuliwe. Mwe kama kambira na batate baki. The moment the father leaves, the child is in trouble. Bazimai. Unfortunately, you are going to find that so they are the children who are going to look after you. They are the children who are going to be there for you, even more than your own biological children. Uzapeza bana bako bo bala so bakushita neglect, but this biological child will still remember this person did something that my mother could not do. This person did something that my own biological father would not do. They will value you, they appreciate you. And as Evangelist has said, when God has allowed us to be in a relationship where there are children, He's actually trusting us to live with those children, to take care of those children. We are basically caretakers. These are God's children. Let's love them. Let's embrace them. And above all, mankala na greedy. Kaya CJ. Sure, ningamvelele nsanje mwana wa 4 years kutimba like that, kutimba mwana mungono. Nish, what are you up to? Anyway, Bazimai, it has been nice being with you. I've enjoyed. Next week, please make a date with us. We are going to be with a person from the law enforcement who's going to take us through on how to handle these cases of abuse. And let us not forget to raise the flag, to blow the whistle. The moment we see the signs and signals or the signs and symptoms of a child who is being abused, let it be in our communities, in our workplace, everywhere. Let us raise the flag to save a life. I submit, CJ.
Thank you very much, Himba. Viewers, thank you for being part of tonight's broadcast. Thank you for everyone who dropped a comment in the comment section there. Unfortunately, our phone seems to have had a technical issue, but I'm sure we'll have it ready, available next time. Viewers, make sure that you follow all our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's Ubuntu Channel Zambia. On YouTube, Ubuntu Channel. On Twitter, currently X, is Ubuntu Channel. And every day at 20 hours, there's a program going on right here on Ubuntu Channel. Tomorrow, that is Friday, there's a sports program. On Saturday, we have a review of trending issues, trending stories of the week. That is at 20 hours Saturday. Sunday, 19:30, we do have Gospel Zone. On Monday, we have Lifestyle. And on Tuesday, we have Let's Talk Politics. Wednesday, we have Meet Your Leaders. And on a Thursday, like today, we have Nsaka. Next week, just like Himba has said, we're going to have an expert from Victim Support Unit who's going to be able to give us detailed information and a lot more data regarding child abuse, how to handle it, how to report it, and everything around it. Well, from me, Himba, there's Caroline, Abia, Dillion, Lance, and everyone who dropped a comment in the comment section and who has been watching. Want to say thank you and have a blessed night. Good night. Thank you.